Namaskar and welcome to a special edition, to a special guest today that we have with us, Shri RVS MANI, a gentleman with whom I have spoken extensively in the past on different channels, from Janam TV to Nationalist Hub. And today we have with us him on our show to discuss a few things that has happened disturbingly after the 4th of June. Shri RVS MANI, as you're all aware, is an author of two books. And correct me if I'm wrong, sir, two books. And that is the most important thing, that he knows a lot of things which he can speak about. And that actually helps the cause. Shri RVS MANI also was Under Secretary in the Ministry of Home Affairs and, of course, knows a lot of things that happened in the past. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. Namaskar and welcome to the first of the conversations. What happened after 4th of June, sir? Can you just start?
Thank you very much, my friend Suresh. And good morning to listeners. See, 4th of June, there were certain factors which had already been trying to disrupt even before 4th of June. So many things were happening. It was one of the dirtiest campaigns taken out by India, the dot alliance, I call it. And now we have, after 4th of June, what are all is tumbling out. You can see for yourself. I am not getting what. Let us join the dots. First, on the day of our Prime Minister's taking oath, some unfortunate attacks take place in Riyasi. It is followed by 1, 2, 3, 4. Doda, Katua, Riyasi, Doda again. So was it a disruptive tendency evident on the attack? Exactly. There is no doubt about it. You have photographs of Vande Bharat Express being filled with unauthorized crowds, unprecedented unauthorized crowd, just to show Indian Railways in a bad mood. Were they travelers? I do not think so, because I have been very frequent traveler in Vande Bharat. Una Vande Bharat, I go to Chandigarh, I go to Jaipur very often. On Vande Bharat, you cannot step inside without the RPF constable. Everybody is there in Delhi Cancer. You just cannot just be getting into that like this crowd. So what was it behind that? How many people forced themselves into it just for a selfie and put the Indian Railways in bad light? You have the accident in Kanchenjunga Express, the Rangapani. Was it a sabotage? Was it a type of course the CRS inquiry, Commissioner of Railway Safety inquiry, will tell the truth, but was it disobedience by a section of by anybody? Was he a deracinated gentleman who has been disaffected? And this sends a very wrong signal, because it is in the Alipur Dwar area, which is the very vital connect to the entire northeast of the country. And Kanchenjunga Express is also important because of the fact that we have approaches to at least one state rightly from there. NH74 connects with them, and all those things are there. So that is also something which is, see, it may look like bits and pieces of news, but if you join the dots, NH74 had been disrupted even in 2007 and 8 during the Gorkha allegation. You have a severe and the West Bengal, even now the lawlessness goes unabated, and you have the Chief Minister of Manipur's convoy attacked around the same time, and you have the NEET scam being hypered. See, the irony of NEET scam is one of the propagators one of the person who came out had the support of the Vice President of the Congress Party, Madam Priyanka Vadra, a General Secretary of Congress Party, and top office bearer of the Congress, belonging to the family of the Congress Party, first family of Congress Party. You have now in the investigation revealing that another entity of the dot alliance, is private secretary, was involved in the leakage of the NEET papers. Now you have another gentleman called Mr. Salman Khurshid, who is also supposed to be the lawyer of the people charged with dot. He is also, Salman Khurshid is a congressman. He is also a lawyer, advocate for one of the charged persons in the NEET scam. So it is all very clearly coming out. Just join the dots. Was this entire NEET exam, because you have already had not just this Tamil Nadu, huge, they have been resisting NEET for the simple reason that many of the sitting politicians have their own private medical colleges, in which around 50% of the seats is a revenue for them. So that is the reason they wanted to convert it to 100%. Now you have other places also, many private colleges in Noida, Knowledge Park, in other places in Rajasthan and all, where a lot of politicians are holding the or ownership of these colleges. And also it was a double bonus for them that they will get their they also defame the NEET exam itself, the very NTA itself, so that they also get because ironically you have to see in Uttar Pradesh itself, the number of medical seats in the undergraduate level has been increased by Yogi Adityanath Sarkar by creating new medical colleges of high quality attached to reputed hospitals. I think 14 colleges I do not know the exact figure, have come up in the last 7 years of Yodi government, which otherwise the students would have been going to private colleges, which was a source of income for these politicians. And not just 14 medical colleges, it is not seat like that 14 numbers, the number of seats plus the cascading benefits. The primary health centers get a lot of doctors, they have the interns, they have the final year interns coming. So it's a huge bonus for the government. So they wanted to disrupt the entire system. So anything, whether it is the railways, which is connecting, which is a very important mobility agent for the citizens of the country and a low-cost mobility agent, that was sought to be defamed. The medical examination process was sought to be defamed. The security apparatus was sought to be defamed, both in terms of railway safety as well as the people's safety, including, see what is happening. Now Valley is a fortress, so they started getting in through. So, and I've always maintained that Congress ka haath terrorist ke saath. I've said it in so many words. There is a very clear cut. Nobody has rebutted it from Congress. So it is balance of consideration. I think right from 4th June, we have been having these type of things coming out, and it is a pattern. That is what is most disturbing. See, and number 3 is we are trying to become the 5th largest or 3rd largest economy in the world, 5 trillion. For all these things, ground level normalcy is a very, very essential part. And if you are going to attack the infrastructure, and of course, what was natural force multiplier was the heat wave in South India. That also, some people are playing politics over water. A particular member of the Dot Alliance, original court order was Himachal Pradesh, but Himachal Pradesh, they have a partner of the Dot Alliance, so they started blaming Haryana, and now it comes to light that even Haryana was releasing the water, these people did not have the reservoir to collect and harness the water and distribute it. So what he has done to cover up the entire thing, now they are sitting on a satyagraha for water. A person, a party, a group of people who have never spoken the truth. Anything other than truth they will speak, or sitting on a satyagraha is the biggest irony.
Mr. Mani, many people, sorry to interrupt you, but many people would call you conspiracy theorist. I know when you wrote your first book, The Myth of Hindu Terror, and then subsequently the other books that you wrote. And also the fact that you were the Undersecretary Home on that fateful day on 26/11. Many of our viewers would remember my previous interview with Mr. Mani. But Mr. Mani, when you, as you rightly said, you need to connect all these dots from the Kanchenjunga accident to the attack on the Manipur CM, to the water crisis and many other NEET and other things. But when you look at all this happening, because what is the final aim is, of course, to now you see the Nicobar Island Development Project that is being taken up. That again, Congress wants it to be stopped for very obvious reasons, because the Chinese would be tracked sitting on that island. Indian Navy would be able to track, or the Tri Services Command would be able to track. Do you think in each of the things, the Modi government is prepared to handle all these things? Because somewhere along the way, till Dharmendra Pradhan took charge and directly said that day that some great coaching sirs were behind the NEET exam thing. And of course, later on, it came to know that one of the girls had fabricated evidence. The Allahabad High Court had asked her to be proceeded against. And the same lady's tweet was tweeted by Priyanka
Later.
Vadra. So when you rightly said that connect the dots, but let us look at in isolation and in entirety. Do you think there is a method in the madness, sir?
I entirely say that. Absolutely right that there is a method in the madness, and that method is to be brought before the public. See, now the madness, the chaos is being connected everywhere, shown to the people that Modi cannot rule, or we will not allow Modi to rule, or whatever it is. The 5 trillion economy is a myth. We are mirage we are facing. These are all the messages we are trying to convey. But that is not the question. The idea is to ensure, see, for example, the Nicobar Island, you said, Nicobar Island, of course, it has a lot of advantages strategically, not just tracking Chinese in the Bay
Indian
of
Ocean,
Bengal,
Indian Ocean region.
Bay of Bengal. But besides that, few years back, I had written, there's another book called When Money, right? In that there is a article I had written about the deployment of naval vessels and submarines in South Asia, South China Sea, and all that, which could be a very bad sign for Indian defense strategy. Now, besides that, in spite of the fact that the president of Maldives had attended the swearing in of the honorable prime minister, shown his friendship with us, there is no doubt that China's presence both in Hanamkonda, that Chinese Sri Lankan port, as well as in Maldives, is still very much present, and that is also a challenge. This Nicobar Island, the Nicobar Island will also give you cover of surveillance under both these places for the Chinese movements. That's a very, very strategic point. Now the question is, the people who want to stop the entire Nicobar Island development, are the ones who signed the ILD INC. Remember, ILD is the intelligence wing of the CCP, Chinese Communist Party of India, and it was signed in 2008 when there was a visit of the Yuvraj and the Priyanka Gandhi Vadra to Beijing for visiting the Beijing Olympics. Rahul Gandhi was a member of parliament. Priyanka Gandhi was not even there. Why did the Indian ambassador, Nirupama Menon Rao, preside over the function? Was it an official function? We do not know. It was a political function. The MHA, even for an investment, an economic interested investment, the Ministry of Home Affairs, the Internal Security Division is consulted. In this case, I can say that it was never consulted. Such an important alliance deal. No record of anybody.
Yeah,
The
Mr.
external,
Mani, sorry again interrupting your thought because I know you go into one topic in depth. So, but I want our viewers to understand when you say that requires a security clearance. What exactly is the security clearance you're talking about? At what level of diplomacy that it and what does it at the ministerial level? If a minister is visiting from the Union of India to China, or a member of parliament is visiting, or any normal citizen like Priyanka Vadra visited, but since she went with Rahul Gandhi, and later on, we know where Nirupama Rao went and what all statements she made against various governments in various points in time. But we will not get into that. But since you were in the Home Ministry for a long time, you knew how the protocols work. Can you explain it to our viewers? How does it actually happen? Sir?
anything which is seeded, supposing a particular MOU, it is between a MOU between two organizations. Individual visits, there are mechanisms. See, if it's the official visit by the sitting MP, they will give only political clearance and after a vetting by a particular agency. So that's a very simple, very straightforward matter. If a non-political person, they don't even sometimes bother. Sometimes they do bother somebody like a C2 president going there and all that. That's a different matter. But in this case, an organizational MOU was signed. Now, let me say one thing. Every foreign investment proposal before clearance, every infrastructure proposal where a foreign collaborator is participating, all these things, including, that's the reason I said, even on the items of economic interest, where they are going to give us an asset, they are going to help us by building technology, they are going to be collaborating with us in a very profitable business. Still, MHA clearance is cleared. FIPB, an officer, I have also sat on the top meetings. My colleagues have sat on those meetings. MHA officer sits and he conveys his position of the security part. I'll tell you one thing, that even the Western Union connection with Indian banks were also, we were all sitting in it and discussed it. So Aadhaar to be dovetailed with banks also, KYC, everything. MHA has been involved. That is the level of involvement of the Internal Security Division. Whether it is the Aadhaar, even before Aadhaar came into play, Mr. R.S. Sharma, S.R. Sharma used to be there. Even at that time, during the meeting, the MHA was certainly there. That is the level of surveillance the MHA has got. So, to say that a political party is going and signing a memorandum with somebody else, and the MHA does not know, and ironically, there is no record of that MOU in the Ministry of External Affairs. I do not think there is a record of the MOU in the Indian Embassy in China, which had hosted the signing of these MOUs. That is a very, very disturbing fact. We do not know what is the extent of compromise or what is the extent of compromise. But this is being borne out by the facts. This is being borne out by the fact that the Nicobar Islands, when these things are happening, our people are resisting against that. The same party which had a MOU, ILD, the ILD MOU with them, they are also, their political stance is betraying their involvement or their standing with the Chinese. And that is the biggest betrayal. And that's the best way to assess the position. I'm not any political person. I'm just giving you facts or food for thought. And that is the way you have to see it. That is the way you have to see it. Yes, Mr. Suresh.
Yes, Mr. Mani, actually, that agreement which was signed between Rahul Gandhi and the Chinese Communist Party was later on claimed to be for the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation, of which we know Sonia Gandhi was the boss and still the boss. And it was for a grant of an amount for fellowship for people doing research on India-China relationship. Very, very broad way to say that, look, we are going to spy on you. We want to know what Indians are doing, and see, look, we are giving you this money for it through the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation. Well, we don't know what research was carried out till date. There's no details coming out on that, how that amount was used. This is only the official amount, so you can imagine what the unofficial amount would be like. But Mr. Vani, there was also disturbing news from Kerala, by the way, and I think we should take it up in a separate story. This is something that we discussed in 2018 when I was with Janam TV and you had dropped in at our studios in Thiruvananthapuram, and we spoke in detail about various other issues of 2611, Samjauta Express, Malegaon Blast, Pune German Bakery, and other incidents, including the Hyderabad terror attacks. The question was very simple at that point in time. Was you briefly mentioned, you didn't get into the details of it, that look, when you were in Mumbai with the censor board or with the other divisions of the Government of India handling that part of the business, you saw a pattern of movie funding happening. And why I'm referring to this is very clear. Now comes the story that the producers of Manjumal Boys, which claimed to be a super hit generating over 260 crore of rupees, having been made on a budget of 20 crores, had bought in money from the Gulf and converted that money, black money, into white by claiming that the theaters were running houseful all over Tamil Nadu and Hyderabad and various other parts of Kerala. But now it turns out that the actual collection was not even 60 crores. And that all came about because the guy who invested the money in it, one of the chaps, he filed a case saying, I didn't get my 10% or 20% that was promised to me because there was no collection in the first place. Same thing happened with a very big Malayalam superstar, one of the top two. in Kerala, whose recent movie again was claimed to be generating 100 crores. They even had a cake cutting function in which the star arrived and cut the cake for 100 crores. But no sooner had the ED raids happened on Subin, who's one of the producers and lead actors of that movie, Manjumal Boys, the turnover of even that movie has now suddenly dropped to 30 crores. Now, can you explain to our viewers? I know we have very limited time since you have other engagements to go for, but in about 10 minutes' time or 5 minutes' time, if you can take and tell us what really was happening in Mumbai those days when you were there handling this part of the business.
I will tell you very simply. Just let us go before my tenure in Mumbai. I will take you to the last part of the NDA 1 in 2004, 2003-4. Sushma Swaraj had made an announcement as I&B minister that I will declare the status of industry to the film industry so that they can get institutional funding. And later on, she was sent out somewhere, or the government went off. After that, after the UPA 1 comes in, new companies have simply risen from some nowhere. One is the Cornerstone, another is Kwan. What they do is they place themselves as brand management companies for major stars. Anushka Sharma, what is that, Rajesh Roshan, Deepika Padukone, everybody is somebody who is there. And if you are not into their loop, you will not get any roles. And it was basically in last 2021 or 22, that Sushant case time, one of the partners of one of the companies was caught peddling drugs. In another case, another Imran Khatri was also associated closely with that. Is a drug peddler. Then so one Sonu Jalan from Thane is one of the DOD man's front man. He has got a lot of stakes in these companies. Like that, now they had formalized, the companies had formalized what was informally happening loosely, some sort of a Hawala transaction. Now, partly it is being legitimized so that tomorrow, if a question arises, the entire thing shall not be taken over by the ED. Some we can show as our legitimate cover. Shoaib, who is that? Shoaib Khan, Salman Khan's brother, Shoaib Khan's wife is the owner of the Cornerstone. Kwan also, we have such papers. And the entire film industry's finances, the corporate wheel of these two companies should be lifted. And if it is opened out, not just the Indian Bollywood industry, but other places also, as you said. Because in 2010 or now, I had seen a person will go to Gulf, I don't know, 6 months, 8 months, and suddenly he will come back with flush money about 3 crores, 2 crores. He will make a film, get it certified. My good friend was there, one Mr. John, and thereafter one Mr. Kumar. They were in charge of certification. There were a certain method to the madness. Very close, number 10 people were associated with the examining committee of the. So it used to happen in every of the board, but Kerala board, there were 3-4 very important people in the number 10 Janpat. They were there, and they would ensure all clearances so that the film gets screening as early as possible, whether X, Y, Z or what, and whatever happened was happened. So the examining committee of the board contained very important members of the place, or recommendee of the place, and that is very well known there. So that is the reason I had broached upon this topic, that Kerala has been into this type of funding of films and this type of money laundering activities for quite some time now. It is almost 15 years now since I left the place. So it is very obvious that what was happening. Say a person with security bag landing up because of Chidambaram in film certification board. It was pure irony that I simply sat, and one day I had come to inspection for the board in regional board in Thiruvananthapuram. At that time this happened. So I was shocked. So I asked one of the gentlemen, he said, "Sir, this is not our brief." Our brief is whatever material is given, we have to examine it and give it back to them. I said, yeah, this is very dangerous. It's left hand does not know what the right hand of the government is doing, and they had kept it deliberately. I tried to broach the topic with the Minister of INB. He said, this is not INB, don't talk like a MHA fellow. I left it at that. I said, I could not do beyond this. But this is a fact that film industry has been in money in laundering money, and from laundered money, terror funding has been happening.
Yeah,
Another
Mr. Mani,
fact,
yeah.
Another
That's
fact,
another fact, yes. And that is where I want to bring in that interesting episode which you mentioned, which you did not tell here, is that somebody announces a movie, gives advances to hero, heroine, director, music director, everybody, and then disappears. The Murat shot, and after that, the movie never sees the light of the day.
there are many
No,
such cases.
yes, sir. Can you talk about that, sir?
In Kerala, people go out and within 6 months or 8 months of tenure in Gulf, say Saudi or Kuwait, or they will come back. I don't know where they get. See, in 6 months or 8 months of business or service or work or whatever it is, you cannot find somebody flush with 3 crores coming out and trying to make a movie. It needs to be investigated. No, you can check the number of applications in Trivandrum CBFC office, regional office, analyze them, how many of them are really screened, see how many applications got the certificate, and out of which how many of them were really screened. That is a very $1 million question. There will be a gap there. Then how many of them really screened and showed the exact revenue, and how many of them were overplayed the revenue or underplayed the revenue? So there are different categories. Bombay, you have to do Trivandrum, you have to do, and Chennai Center, you have to do. Not much pressure in the Kannada and Telugu industry, nor in the Assami industry. Calcutta also, generally, things are more organized. I am surprised to know that the Calcutta regional office is quite organized. So this is, otherwise, apart from certification of the content, you have no other rule or law regulating the exhibition of films. We are only doing, see, whatever happens is only regulating the content. You have no way today, you don't have income tax and regulating. Income tax, they can file anything and get away with it. There should be a proper cost account audit of each film. See, if you have for companies under Section 233A of the Companies Act, why not have a cost account audit of each of the film stand alone, so that you know what is the amount. See, basically, film has a lot of chance to, nowadays it's all digital still. So much of perishables thrown, so much of perishable retakes. Everywhere they launder money. If you see the filmmaking process, in everywhere they launder money. There is a huge scope for that. And that is the reason when Sushma Swaraj said this, when they said you will give an industry status to that, all the fellows, after that, the UPA government, NDA government lost. UPA came in and all the fellows simply started becoming one member of this conglomerate or that conglomerate, this mafia or that company or whatever it is. And all these things were, see, those days the organized crime syndicates in Mumbai were still operative. Although Dawood had left in 1984, but his footprints were very much there, because we know 2005 Vicky Malhotra case where one of the police officers arrested the DIB, Mr. Ajit Dawal.
Oh my God. I didn't know this. How did this happen, sir?
He was going to arrest Dawood through Chota Rajan, using one versus other. And this lady, one of the officers, and this lady has written a book now, some Aruna Bovarkar or something like that. Legitimate, in fact, justifying the arrest of the Ajit Dovalji. Otherwise, 2005, he had come to that. We had a lot of Dawood keeps visiting. I don't know now what is his present status. He would have been arrested. But that is the deep root of Mumbai police with Dawood. And now she is a retired additional DG or something like that. She has also written a book confirming the event and also justifying it.
So is this the same lady who was involved in that 2611 thing in
No,
Taj
no, no, no,
Hotel?
not
Not
no,
that lady.
no,
Okay.
not that lady. The
Okay.
2611. I will about the 2611 lady Chitkala Dukshe. I will tell a very interesting fact. In March 2023, she was called before the case trial court, sessions court, trying the Sadhvi Pragya, Colonel Purohit and all. She has openly said in the court that she gave the sanction order without applying the mine on the orders of R.R. Patil, the then Home Minister of Maharashtra. It is a matter of court record now. I am following the court on a regular basis.
So there was.
So that means it was a political agenda.
So that means there was no evidence, nothing. Colonel Purohit was locked up because as a military intelligence officer, he stumbled upon something very big. And before he could kind of get into the depth of it with that organization, Abhinav Bharat or others, it really actually blew up on his face, and he was arrested, illegally arrested, and we know what happened from there on. Mr.
And
Mani,
that lady has admitted in the court that it was a political agenda.
Isn't Mr. R.R. Patil who got orders from somewhere, isn't it, sir? It is not that he got orders from directly, he gave the orders. He would have got orders from Delhi, from somebody sitting in Delhi, saying, do this.
No, we do not know, but R.R. Patil has given orders to Chitkala Joshi and she signed the prosecution order and ultimately he was attacked. That is the basic grain of the entire case.
Mr. Mani, I know you have another meeting coming up in another 5 minutes, but I'm sure this is the first of the conversation that we are having with Mr. Mani, and down the days we will have more specific topics being taken up. And because Mr. Mani is an authority on this, having been in the Ministry of Home Affairs, sitting in that hot seat there, seeing things happening, written books about it, corroborated it with stories written by journalists, all this happened. And some people talk, some people don't talk, and Mr. Mani took a risk of talking, and we know what happened to his personal safety also after that. Mr. Mani, it's wonderful speaking to you. I know you have something coming up in another 5 minutes, but thanks a lot, sir, and speak to us. Namaskar.
Thank you very much.
And
Namaskar. Jai Hind. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Jai Hind, sir.
Honored. Thanks. Jai.